Quick disclaimer, stop me if you've heard this one before. FBC Firebreak is not why Remedy is my favorite game developer. I don't go to them for multiplayer games, I don't go to them for co-op or rotating maps or fun with friends. I go to them for their characters and world building and atmosphere and music, and don't mind me, I'm just reinstalling Alan Wake 2 again. I also don't usually make videos like this. I don't do previews, I don't make consumer-led reviews. My focus is on arty-farty critiques of video games after the dust has settled and I can chew on their themes. I have made an exception for FBC Firebreak. It's been 6 years since Jesse Faden became the director of the FBC, and things have gone terribly. The oldest house is still in lockdown, the hiss are still running rampant, and the altered items that got loose back in control are still causing mayhem. As a Firebreak team, our job is to keep back the hordes while the nerds upstairs figure out what to do next. For longtime fans, this is stuff we already knew, and the fact the game is light on story might be a turnoff. In my preview, we didn't get an intro video from Casper Darling, Jesse Faden didn't suddenly appear in the middle of a mission, but for me, it was a big, fat tick. The game director, Mike Kayata, said that the team didn't want it to feel like you have a second job, where you need to log back in to keep up with friends, progression, or a story that's there to trick you into playing. My time with Firebreak taught me that that wasn't just words. You can absolutely play it for 10 minutes, put it down for a couple of weeks, and then jump back in for a quick mission. You can also binge the whole thing and fall into its deep well. The focus here is fun that you don't have to commit to. A game made for players, not player counts. But what are we playing? What are we actually doing? I had 2.5 hours with the game with access to 3 jobs: Paper Chase, Hotfix, and Ground Control. All 3 brought a different flavour of glorious carnage. With Paper Chase, our goal was to destroy the sticky notes that had multiplied across Central Executive, battling the hiss while we went. Hotfix had us trying to temper the furnace that had manifested in maintenance, and Ground Control threw us into the Black Rock Quarry, where we had to destroy the paranatural leeches that have latched on to the walls. All 3 jobs have a sense of progression to them. It's not just about holding a control point until a timer ticks down. They expand and grow, leading to a final whirling conclusion like a sticky note boss fight. More on Sticky Ricky later. Black Rock bunkers pop up that are effectively our save rooms. Inside is ammo, lost assets that let us upgrade our kit, a sink to heal ourselves, and once we open them up, we'll respawn from them if we die. Finding these becomes a strategic goal that you should consider as you work through a job. Just be careful you don't get trapped in one. That's the thing that surprised me most about FBC Firebreak. It doesn't feel like Left 4 Dead with a control skin. It starts with the unique feeling of the oldest house and builds its missions and gameplay from there. The Black Rock Quarry had a couple of astral spikes just roaming the cliffs. Anyone who's played Control will know that you can't kill these things, but once they know you're there, they'll home in like a beacon. In Ground Control, as we blast the leeches, radioactive eggs will sometimes fall, our main objective. But because these eggs are radioactive, handling them will slowly poison us if we carry them for too long. Tossing them to your teammates is one way to get around that, but if you're feeling really spicy, you can lob them at hiss to make them radioactive as well. It's a tool, a weapon, and a risk, all tying back to the main objective. You're rewarded for thinking outside the box. The maps are reactive to how we approach them. My fear was this would be a game about shooting hordes of hiss. It isn't. I was wrong about FBC Firebreak. Let's look at Paper Chase for a clearer example. If you run through the sticky notes, they'll slowly start to cover your mask. If that happens too much, you'll die and your corpse will be resurrected as a sticky note monster that runs around and spreads more sticky notes. You're not just punished with death, you and your teammates are punished with a new threat. But how do we get around that? Well, water's an option. One of your teammates can blast you with their hose, but if nobody thought to bring one with them, there are showers and sprinkler systems on hand. I jumped in the shower, got myself wet, and then ran gaily through a sea of yellow to drench the notes. Sure, you can shoot them with a machine gun, but why bother when you can frolic through fields of gold? Every job had something like this, and there were elements that I just didn't have time to figure out how to make the most of. Strange speakers could be turned on to play the hero's tango, and I'm not sure if that did anything or if it was just for a bit of fun. Paper Chase ends with a mammoth boss fight against Sticky Ricky, the notes given sentience. You can blast him with your super soaker or just let him guzzle ammo, but the trick is to dodge his attacks and rig up the nearby machines to fry him. Options, options, and more options, and those options grow when we look at the kits. We got to play around with 3 kits, Jump, Fix, and Splash. Unfortunately, Remedy didn't want us showing off the progression screens because they're still tweaking them, but I can testify that there's a really strong feeling of growth here. Weapon upgrades, new perks, superpowers in the form of altered augments change how it feels to blow away the hiss, and each kit has its own unique brand of chaos. The Jump kit has an electrokinetic charge impactor that lets you fry bad guys, just add water, summon a storm of lightning that completely saved our skin in the Sticky Ricky fight, and fly high into the air. This doesn't just add versatility, it adds verticality too. We didn't find any, but Remedy have shown off a black rock bunker that's flipped upside down because the oldest house is always shifting and changing. The Splash kit gives you that all-important water gun. Water is how you heal in this game, so if you can't find a shower or a sink, just ask your buddy to blast you with their hose and you'll be right as rain. Pun intended. The Fix kit was what I poured my time into. It comes with a heavy-duty wrench that A, destroys hiss if you wait for a heavy swing, and B, makes fixing stuff a breeze, something that was a major boon when fighting Sticky Ricky. Eventually, I unlocked a swivel turret, a cobbled-together office chair with a cannon strapped to it with duct tape that you can rig up to automatically blast at bad guys. Despite the chaos, you can approach parts of a job methodically and feel smart as hell afterwards. I always rigged one of these up next to the elevator. I will say that weapons felt a bit limited at the start. A revolver, a shotgun, and a submachine gun are all there is, and those early missions had us on the back foot a lot because it felt like we weren't kicking much ass. That's part and parcel with making a player feel like their strength is earned, and I saw other guns, like a full-blown machine gun, waiting to be unlocked later. I just wish there were 1 or 2 more options early on. What Firebreak's achieved is depth and simplicity. You'll have fun if you're just wildly running around blasting hiss, but what's rewarding is when you're able to piece together a kit, perks, powers, and upgrades that synergize. By the end of our preview, I was desperate to unlock the Piggy Bank Altered Augment for the Fix kit. Maybe next time. Some of you lovely lots sent in questions. Thanks for doing that. I'll answer best I can. Question 1. Can it be played just with 2 players, or do you have to have a third? So it can be played with just 2 players. I didn't experience this myself, but Remedy have said as much. Also, don't worry about needing to communicate with your team. I had some mic issues unrelated to the game, so my party played just using the ping system. The jobs and kits are set up so that everyone is helping in some way, even if they're off on the other side of the map fixing a shower. Question 2. Is there enough lore for a lore dump? I can't speak to the final product, but I really get the sense that the answer is no. This is a fun side game, not a core part of the overall Remedy story. Even as more jobs are added, I think FBC Firebreak will grow alongside the main story of Control, rather than jumping ahead and teaching us anything. It's been designed to be played in a vacuum. You absolutely can. There are 2 characters who are effectively the voices in our ear. They're fun, but sources of lore, I don't think so. Also, thanks for letting me plug Lore Dump here, the show where we take someone who hasn't played a game and walk them through the full story. Links below. Question 3. Is there a secret bonus level in the astral plane? Not from what I saw. Question 4. Does Firebreak fix my problems with live service games? Yes and no. Firebreak has cosmetic microtransactions. To date, Remedy haven't told us how much they cost. But I can speak to the actual progression system having cool looks and cool mechanics that didn't feel too grindy. What's important to note is that Firebreak is not a Suicide Squad or a Marvel's Avengers. It's not the kind of game I swore off at the end of my Suicide Squad video. It sincerely feels more like Left 4 Dead. There's no loot system where you're grinding for dull weapons that are barely better than what you had before. There's fun missions, fun tools, and a depth of systems like how water is treated that tells me it's full of secrets that Remedy want players to unpack themselves so we can get those rushes of discovery like I had when I got wet and ran through sticky notes. Question 5. Does it match the Remedy universe in terms of tone? It's got the sense of humor for sure. That Remedy feeling is in here, it's just explosive, doesn't take itself seriously, and not full of narrative depth like other games. The music is a standout. It gets the blood pumping, and especially during that frantic last dash back to the elevator while hiss are exploding all around you, the rock anthem that plays adds to the thrill. Question 6. How many jobs are there? At launch, there will be 5, with 2 more added before the year is out and more planned for 2026. It's worth noting that this is a game that wants to be approached less like levels to complete and more multiplayer maps to master and uncover. With the FBC being as wild as it is, there's opportunities for all sorts of new jobs. One set in the Foundation, or dealing with the mold, or yes, a dark place job. They would all add a lot. Question 7. Is there an onboarding tutorial? No. A conscientious choice by Remedy to get players into Chaos as quickly as possible. You learn by playing, you learn by having fun, though I definitely think an optional one should be implemented. After my short time with it, and paying close attention to what Remedy have said about the game with a wary, cynical eye, I am glad to say that I was wrong about FBC Firebreak. Full disclosure, when they reached out and offered me a preview, I replied saying I'd love to check out the game, but I wouldn't make a video on it. They told me that that was cool, but I had so much fun playing it that I wanted to spread the good news. I hope this does well, and I can't wait to play it again on June 17th.